Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk, we gon' have fun. We be on fire, we be lit. It's a unique hustle. Big.
Check it. It's a unique hustle. It's your boy ECO, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing official Miss Jamaica. What's going on?
Nothing, no Modell, all going. I want y'all to stop what you're doing right now. Go like, subscribe, follow us from all social media platforms. When I mean all, I mean our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us, Boss Talk Podcast 101. We'll pop up first in line, I guarantee you. But y'all see us in the streets and talk about, man, I love what y'all do and keep up the good work. How can we be a part of Boss Talk? This is how you can be a part of Boss Talk. Under each and every interview, including this one right here in the description section below, there's a link that says join our membership. Click that link, follow all the instructions, and that's how you get to see all the exclusive content. Y'all been asking us, where's this interview? Where's that interview? You got to be a member to see it. Thank you in advance, and we love you.
Man, listen, man, we got special guests in here today. But first off, I'm going to tell y'all, man, go download that app, man. I got to tell y'all that. Make sure you spend the $7.99. You got to spend $7.99 to see the exclusive content. This will be our first on that app first. Let's get to the app first.
You got to plug in.
Necessary.
BossTalk101.app.
Man, listen, I got special guests in here today. They need no introduction, man. This guy, hey, this is the second time around, man. I can't lie, man. This one of the guys, man, that came coming, man. Wasn't no problem to get him over here. He been showing us love, man. New Orleans, stand up. He don't sound like no New Orleans nigga.
He do sometimes.
No, he don't.
Yes, he do.
Jason Mitchell's in the building.
Oh, yes,
man.
Lord. Yes,
and
Lord.
he brought his partner Gene Deed in the building today on Boss Talk 101. World of Bosses Talk. Is Deed or Deal?
D.
I mean, Gene Callaway, actually.
No, it's got to be. It's got to be D. It's got to be D.
I bring the D.
How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
It's just a blessing to have y'all on the show, man. And like I said, man, it's just dope to have you back on here. You know, you one of those guys, man. You know, when I see you, you know what I'm saying. I be thinking about, you know, you sitting in that bed and you sitting there crying and. Man,
you cried, didn't you?
Dying, no, you dying in that bed over there on Easy, or you talking crazy. You get the gun on there and you run out the hotel room. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
I think about that
scene.
Kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That. I love that.
You did that. I was just told by somebody today, like, man, he killed that part. I was telling somebody, I don't remember. I talked to so many people. It's like, man, he killed that part, bro. Yeah. So I know, bro, he'd be at the store today, man.
But when you kill a part so hard, do you feel like that can also have you stuck in that character too long? Because everywhere you go, everybody see you and be like, what's up, Easy?
You know what? A little bit. You know, but I don't quite feel pigeonholed because I feel like I got to show a lot of different faces of Jason Mitchell, and that was like the main thing that made me want to do that. You know what I mean? But I mean, it could be worse. I could be Mike Epps in Day Day. You know what I mean? Like, I could be Day Day forever. You know what I mean? And shout out to Mike Epps. He killed that. But, you know, he done had people walk up and try to violate him, really thinking that he's soft. You know what I mean? He's like, nah. You know, so at least they think I'm somebody hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You know, every time I think about that boy, what's his name? Jerry Heller.
Oh yeah.
And the way you was, you know, at the end telling him, man, you took everything, man, you know. But when I interviewed, and I hadn't seen you since then, I interviewed BG Knockout in California. He was saying that the show depicted Easy wrong. He said at the end, Easy was still staying in mansions. That was not true.
Wait, you talking about like before he passed?
At the end, yeah, like when y'all
how he had to downsize. Well, you know what it was? I think it was just like there was so many things that couldn't go in the movie. Like psychologically, you got to be able to fit all of this stuff into 2 hours and some change. It was still a super long movie. You know what I mean? And we had to fight with the studio about a lot. Like they took a lot of stuff out. Like when they went to the White House and all of that was in the original script, but it was just too long. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's not the Eazy-E story. You know what I mean? And some things are just easier to digest if you can see the difference. You know what I mean? You could, because people could be broke living in a mansion. I see it all the time.
Man,
I see it all the time.
I interviewed Lonzo. He had some things to say about that movie. I interviewed DOC. DOC had some things to say.
A lot of
people had a few things to say that because you got to think about it. You know, I heard this Suge came because he wanted to check Ice Cube about that day when he got in trouble. He was trying to check Ice Cube about the fact that they used his character, but then he didn't get nothing out of it.
Well, actually, that day that he actually showed up,
You was
he
there?
showed up. No, I wasn't there.
No, you wasn't there.
No, but I talked to Cube about it, though.
Okay.
But he showed up because Cube was like, break him off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
him
yeah.
and
No,
Dre don't get along, and Dre was there every day. So Dre, like, long as I don't see him, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, because they got whatever going on.
Of course.
But yeah, Cube, you know, he a fair businessman. He understand
sure.
what it is, you
For
know.
sure.
So, you know, he was part of the story. It was what it was.
Dope, man. I've interviewed a lot of people since you, man, and I always figure out how to put these pieces together for the program.
I mean, we need to find out
Let's
the
see
real
what
story.
really happened. What you say happened?
Right.
What you say happened?
Right. No, that's funny.
Man, let's get to it.
Funny.
I want to know about this guy right here. You don't come on Boss Talk 101. We don't know nothing about this dude. We know about this guy.
I was about
want
to
his
jump
background.
into it.
Let's get all the way into it. Let's go.
I'm incognito.
Okay.
Let's get
I'm
to
under
it.
the radar.
No, we want to know who the hell this is. This man I'm brought on our show.
So, Jane, were you born and raised here in Texas?
I was. Yep.
Dallas, Texas?
East Texas. So I was technically born in Dallas at Presby.
Okay,
Right.
raised in what part of East Texas?
Well, so I would have went to high school in Skyline, but my parents moved out to East Texas when I was in kindergarten.
What part is East Texas? That's what we're trying to get
Man,
to.
you know where Quinlan is?
Yeah, that's
ain't no
not in
damn
East
East
Texas.
Texas.
So it's East.
It's not East Texas,
Because
man.
he's from East Texas. That's why.
I'm sitting there. That's why I'm
Whoa,
watching
what
you,
part of East
man.
Texas?
Caddo Lake, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, stop playing,
We go
man.
fishing
Cattle
in the
Lake,
cattle
well,
all the
Man,
time.
you know where I
That's
go.
East Texas.
That's the real East
deep.
Texas.
That's Louisiana.
No, that ain't.
never heard
It's
of
close.
these
It's
places
right on
before.
the
Yeah, you lost.
No.
That's the only. That's called. It separates Texas and Louisiana.
And Louisiana.
Oh,
The
Valley.
only
okay.
natural lake in
I'm
the state
saying
of
that's
Texas.
right.
That's true.
And I'm from there, so I know that
I've
already.
caught
Just
so
want-
many frogs and crappie out
Man,
there.
come on, me too, man. Over there on B&B, man, down there on on Joe Boy Lake. I know all these spots.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Over there in Uncertain, you can go
Yeah.
in back over there.
Do you ever go eat fish at Uncertain?
Oh, yeah.
Them old boys-
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's a new owner over there
That's
now.
right. We just left.
You need
off
to
down
check
there.
it
I
out.
haven't been there probably
Yeah.
10 years.
Oh, you got to
Yeah,
go
it's
down
a new
there.
I
owner.
went to school at Stephen F. Austin. I played football there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
in Nacogdoches.
Already?
So that gives me a little further.
Well, you
east.
Yes,
So, yeah.
All I know about Nacogdoches is that, man, they got this place. I always stop there and get boudin balls. I wish I knew the name of it.
Well, you know where Bubba Dub from?
Well,
Alto, right there.
Alto is right by-
there by Alto. Right
What?
there.
Oh, yeah, Alto. Oh,
Yeah.
he's from out. That's a
Yeah.
little bitty town.
That's where you from.
what?
It's right there, ain't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Carthage,
Funny.
Alto.
Yeah.
You know, all the places over there.
What?
Yeah, a lot of
We
people say,
cousins.
anybody told you look like Bubba Dub?
Bro, everybody. Listen, I was just in Miami and some dude walked up to me drunk, like, bro, listen, I've been trying to get in touch with you, man. You so funny, bro. Like, I got a movie I'm trying to do with all the creators. And I feel like you could be the star, man. I'm telling you, Doug. I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, what movie did he see me that I was this funny in? You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you talking about? He
That
was,
creep ain't came out yet.
right, exactly. He was dead serious though, bro. I'm like, you know I'm not Bubba Dub, right? He like, come on, man, don't do me like that, bro. Come on, you ain't gotta do me like that, man. I'm like, listen, it's really not me. But
Let's be real. His
that's my
picture
gut.
came up right behind him, and I was like, Jason, when did you get on? I ain't seen that big earring on you before.
That's
You
my
know
dog.
what? We
dude.
need
That's
to
my dog. I
have
support it.
the next
We'll
time
bring
Bubba
y'all
Dub,
here
we need
together.
to have them on together.
We'll bring y'all here
That would be
together.
funny.
Oh, listen, I got a movie idea for us too. It's
That'll be
actually
hard.
super dope. Like
We're brothers.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
happy and we sing and we colored.
Banana.
I guess I can't be in there. I don't know, man. Shit, a couple more pool days.
You not come on, boy.
Hey, getting back to you though, Gene. Did you play? What position did you play down there? Let's be real.
I was a receiver in college. Yeah, quarterback in high school.
Quarterback in high school, throwing that thing.
Were you any good?
I was a 4.42 guy. I had a little bit of speed.
Boy, the fish get bigger every time they get a little bit later in time. What are records at? Let the records show.
The fish get a little bit bigger.
The clock record?
Yeah,
I mean, they got them there.
they
At the
need to
field
have them.
house.
We need to know. I mean, and do you still think you can go?
Oh, no. I'm old, dude. I'm pushing 50 now. I got
Cat
a
Williams is old.
reconstructed knee.
Cat Williams is old, and he's still showing. He
Who
still
ain't
got
gonna
it.
get out there bad?
So I saw
His
that.
hands like this. I'm sorry,
gonna
Cat.
tell you
Like
what,
he's
he's
floating,
fun.
man.
I love Cat Williams. I
Me
watched him
too.
on Theo Vaughn. That interview with Theo.
Yeah.
He had Cat Williams turn around in his chair so he didn't break character a couple times. When you're making Cat Williams laugh, you know you're doing something.
You're doing your thing, man. Let's get back to it.
So were you raised with your? I heard you mention your mom, but was your dad around at the same time too?
Yep.
Okay, so you were raised with both. So tell me something that your father instilled in you at a young age that you still carry with you now.
So I hadn't talked to my dad in like 7 years, probably. You know, that bottle kind of got in the way, right? But I would say when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, during the summers is when I started working with him, and he remodeled houses. And I'd say the work ethic, really, you know, from him. You know, and when I was younger, I mean, he was there all the time, you know, to all the practices. He was coaching, you know, from Little League all the way up until we got into high school. It was a little bit later when we had some issues.
So he started drinking later on?
No, when he was the whole time, he just switched a little bit.
Okay, because I was like, if he was present at all of those and he was able to be there.
A lot of stuff I was sheltered from.
Okay,
right? I found out when I was a little bit older. My mom sheltered me from a lot of that. You know, kudos to her for that.
Well, I think sometimes, you know, as you get older, the problem gets worse, right?
Yeah.
Because I got family members that drink, and as you got older, you can't control it as much because it gets to be a worse habit. It takes more to get you where you're trying to go.
Yeah. And like when you retire,
You know what I mean?
now you got nothing you got no work, you got no purpose. So now it's real easy to wake up and like, well, I'm not going to drink before 11, but now, well, I'm not going to drink before 10.
Right.
And, you know,
Well, I'm drunk. I just got up out my head hurting, but I need to get over this hangover.
Right.
So I'm going to drink some
cannot
more.
understand how that's supposed to work.
It does.
The first time somebody told me that, they said,
though.
if you're drunk, just take another drink. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's the last thing I want.
Exactly, but they say it works.
You know what really works?
What?
Ginger ale and Alka-Seltzer. A little bitty shot like that.
Really?
Old trick I learned. You know, in New Orleans, everybody be tore up. You know what I mean?
You know what
So,
I learned? Before you go to bed that night, after you finish drinking, get those emergency packets. Drink a shot of that. You wake up good as new the next morning.
Look,
you know what?
I do all three. I put the emergency with that. Yeah, look, I got to be
I heard
back.
What you heard?
It just smoked a little bit of weed.
Oh, damn. That's what I heard. They're going to put you on another level.
Good.
We're going to try that.
I would never try that unless I was in Colorado and it was legal.
This is the hangover edition, okay?
I want to really dive into, you know, what you guys have done together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys are special, and I watched the clip.
Aggr-Hood.
Yeah.
Who came up with the name?
We're actually not the first, right? I don't know. We're not the first. I don't think. No, we're not the first Aggr-Hood.
I don't know. I've always just had that term in my head. You've had it in your head.
Right. And it just works for us. You know what I mean? But like, it was crazy because, I mean, we hung out for maybe, I don't know, how long would you say we chilled before
I even knew that you're an actor at all? I had no clue who this dude was. We met at a car wash.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I don't know, for 6 months probably.
Yeah.
And I think Nikki over here is like, you know who he is? I'm like, no, you know who I am?
That sound like me. That's it. You might be from East Texas talking like this.
You know how we work.
No game.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Sulphur Springs, so maybe but she's like, I mean, you know, he was Eazy-E and straight out of Compton. I'm like, God, man, it's been a long time since I've seen that. Like, I was in college when I saw that movie.
Right.
And he's been in this and been in that, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm a farmer and a rancher.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been watching and we've been hanging together. It wasn't nothing just spectacular jumped out to me anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Well, so we'll take it back to the first time.
Okay.
The first time that we met, man. I mean, I don't have much of a filter. Right?
Go ahead.
And so I just let it out. And if it's funny, I ain't missing it. I'm not missing a joke to throw something in there. And we're at the car wash, and he comes up to me. I had an Escalade, and then there's McLaren right behind my Escalade. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, man. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He goes, is that your Escalade? And you think for like 30 minutes in like 2 seconds, right? And I'm like, all right, we got this little bitty black dude all tatted up. He can't be an athlete. He must be a rapper. I was like, yeah, is that your McLaren?
Wow.
First thing he starts laughing, he's like, "It's gonna be like that." I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of like that," you know.
Wow.
Did we just become best friends? I love race jokes, bro. I love race jokes, and I'm one of them people who feel like if you can't joke about it, you might still be a little racist. You know what I mean? Exactly. So,
I think, like I said, for me, it's just the individual. It's hard to know how you was raised and who you was raised with, and you know what was instilled in you, because it's taught. It's a learned behavior, bro.
It really is
all the time.
But sometimes, although it's taught, does that mean that you have to grow up to be that way?
No, absolutely not, for real. Because like my grandfather's oldest brother was born a slave, right? So even when they talked about white people, when it was just us, when we was all alone, they was still like, talk like this, and like whisper. I'm like, it's just us in here. Why you put some bass in your voice, you know? And it was always like this fear and this dark cloud that was over them when it came to white people. You know what I mean? And you know, he was hella shady. You know, because my cousin got his baby mama white, you know, he like, you know, Samori had a baby with a white girl. Like, she's sitting right there. Like, you know what I mean? Yes.
I can hear you.
Right, you know. So, you know, my grandfather, he had his ways he felt about it, but probably for good reason. You know what I mean? And they came up in that sharecropping era. Pretty much that whole movie, Mudbound, was his story. The only thing that was different was, you know, he didn't have a baby for some woman in Germany, but it was the same. You know, he had a 5th grade education, came home from the war, and they couldn't do shit but pick up trash on LSU campus. So he sent all his kids to LSU. You know what I mean? Like, that was the kind of mind frame that they had. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, like, we all just people at the end of the day.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And I just don't like who don't like me. I feel like all of that is ignorance. You know what I mean? All of that is ignorance. Because I don't want to live in a world with just niggas.
And me, hold on, I want to say, me coming from Jamaica, when I came here, it was like a culture shock to me where that is concerned. He could always tell you, like, I used to hate when people say, you know, that white person or that black person. Shh, don't say that. That's not right. Because we don't say that in Jamaica. It's everybody is Jamaican. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people feel like everybody in Jamaica is all black. And I'm like, till he met a friend of mine who was actually here in Texas, and she's Asian, but she speaks more Jamaican than I do. And it tripped him out.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? But we don't look at so when she went, what is going on with this? And it's the same thing with her. She said she went to the depot here, and it asked you for the race, and she's like, okay, I don't see Jamaican. She didn't even know what to take, and the lady just said, just say Asian, because we're not used to that.
Right.
But I can understand why people do it, so to say. But I'm like, why don't you know the person's name? Just say Mr. Joe, Mr. Brown, whatever.
Right.
Instead of, oh, that black person over there or that white person over there. Why do you have to say that?
Right.
Well, I don't think it's a black thing. I think it's a both thing. Again, I've been around white guys that acted like that. I've been around white guys that didn't. I've been around black guys that act like that. I've been around black guys that didn't.
Right.
My daddy never spoke a harsh word about no white person. But they were all the same to him. And if he got into it with you, had a problem. He didn't go down there. Period. He treat people like people. If you get out of line, he gonna check that. That's just all it was. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the way I was raised. But then I got up and got raised and went to some of these hostile environments, some of these jobs I went on, and it made me feel like I'm being ostracized and treated unfairly. And I seen it, I experienced it. Right. So it's all kind of ways this stuff can happen, bro. Right.
So if somebody says they haven't faced some sort of racism, they're lying to you. They just don't have the backbone to say it, right?
Yeah.
I faced it,
especially in America.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and back to what you're saying. Division pays in America.
That's right. That's right.
So at the end of the day, war pays, division pays. You know, sick people pay. You know, healthy people getting along and all that. They don't pay the bills.
Don't pay the bills at all. You know what I mean? And so you guys still come together and y'all get this great concept, right?
Yeah.
How what made y'all get on that? Was you in the Army?
No, I wasn't in the Army.
Was you in the Army? Was you in the Air Force?
No, my mom and dad. But my dad actually unalived himself when I was 15
I remember
years old.
You said that.
Yeah. So it made me, because I thought I was going through something unique. I really did. Like, I thought my story was at least somewhat unique.
That's what
But the
everybody
reality is 18 families a day deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
but is it because of PTSD why they deal with that, or just some people just might have mental illness why they do that?
I mean, I feel like, because I mean, the way it was explained to us, right? Because we've been talking to some vets, and like the way it was explained to us is that when you go into the military, they strip you of what you know as your identity or whatever routine you have. They strip that down and then build you into the person that they want you to be. Mm-hmm. And then if something happens, you get discharged, whether it be honorably or dishonorably, whatever. You leave the military and all of that structure that you had is gone now. You know what I mean? So you just sitting there with your thoughts. And a lot of those thoughts can be scary. I mean, they had a guy who was like telling us his story. He's like, yeah, I walk in, you know, I pop the first guy, and I pop the second guy, then I walk upstairs, and, you know, I see this, and he doesn't know if the guy is a threat or not, right? So he reaches for him, and he opens the guy's jacket, and he has a bomb vest on. The guy detonates it. Boom. And it goes off, and he explodes against the wall, and he's out for 30 minutes and wakes up and drags a guy out and all that. Like, how do you forget that? Like, what are you, like, you know what I mean? And then people see you and they can't say you physically look like you have a problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they like, PTSD, man, nigga, you all right. Like, man, go ahead on. You know what I mean? Just relax. Pray, read a book. You know what I mean? Like, they just
and read the Bible.
Exactly. Right. So I think it was a thing that was just not taken seriously for a very long time. You know,
and I think it hurts more to. That's traumatic, but the people that I hear speak about it, it's because a lot of people in these other countries, especially doing the bad stuff, they're using kids to do this. Oh, yeah. And when you have to kill kids, right? That's what I'm hearing that really affects them a lot. You know what I mean? Especially when you have children of your own, and to know that. But the thing I could never understand about that, especially when you have a husband and a wife who's both military, and I always ask, I said, do y'all ever talk to each other about what you saw and what you did? And they always say no. It's like they cannot talk to anybody about it. I'm like, but that's the best way to try to deal with your situation, is to speak about it. Exactly. But nobody talks.
Man, so, I mean, we got a lot of wonderful women in the military, right?
Right.
But the large population is men.
Men, right.
And we are trained from a young age that you don't talk about that shit. You just push it on down, right? That you're weak if you talk about it. You know, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna be used against you, which it does, and it is. You know, so we've been trained and we've been conditioned to think that, well, we're just gonna deal with it on our own, and that's why we've gotten to 18 a day. Right. And that's why we're trying to do what we're doing, rather than putting somebody in a room with a chair and a couch and some papers and being like, okay, tell me what happened. Man, you know, we're not gonna really open up as men that way. But if we're doing something else, you know. If we're in the garden and when we're dealing with some plants, or if we're, you know, grooming a horse, or if we're getting some eggs, we're more apt to talk about something when we're doing something else, because our mind isn't just 100% focused on, man, I don't know if I want to talk about this stuff. Now it's like we're doing something. It's like, well, yeah, you know, I mean, I did this and this and this. So, and talking with some professionals that we spoke with, like, that is the best way, especially for men, to talk about those kind of issues, you know, because we've just been conditioned to not.
Wow, man, you guys, man, extraordinary to even come up with the concept, because my wife actually was, that was one of the things she wrote, because we would write down things years ago and say, what could we do to help some people? And what was your idea? I remember that.
I always, because with the military, and I've always heard about, and I have distant people that are in the military, but I wasn't even thinking about them when I thought about this. Right. Have a house with regular people there, and when you come home to this house with a family and everything, to readjust to society first before you go home to your home. Right. Because you have to be around people who are everyday people and learn how to, you know, fit in before your family. You know, they can visit and stuff like that. You can go back and forth, but before you actually go home. Right.
Some type of transitional housing. Right. And that's really what we want to treat this as. You know, we don't. I mean, if people want to stay there for the rest of their life, I mean, have at it. You know, but the truth is, you need to feel okay. You know, and a lot of times we try to convince ourselves that we're okay, and we're really not. Right. You know what I mean? And you know, that's why. I think, like, for my dad, right? My dad was a paratrooper, and his natural reaction to things was always violent. You know what I mean? And I know it was because, I mean, this guy was a Green Beret. He is trained to be able to do these things to people. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, if you are a person who loves hard, when somebody violates you, the first thing you do is snap. And that's why him and my mom didn't get along anymore. You know what I mean? And it, you know, like when things start to get ripped out of your life and you realize, oh shit, I did this, then it's over. You give up. And that's what I think happened in his situation for sure.
Well, when I look at PTSD, it's so many different areas to cover. Me and my friend, my partner's a detective. We talked the other day. Well, we text back and forth, but he's a police, officer. They go through the same thing. Mm-hmm. My son-in-law, he's a sheriff. Like you stopping people, you seeing people die, you seeing body bags carried out. You might see this for 3-4 days straight, and then all of a sudden you may be over here stopping a regular vehicle on something that had nothing to do with all that. But how do you know when to stop it and start it and how to control it? Right. And I always thought that those guys needed, and I told him that, like, y'all need to be 3 months in and 3 months out or something. You know what I mean? Because you got to think about what they're doing to those people as they go out, and they trying to make sure the staff and everybody's. We don't want to hire too many. We don't want to have too much over. And that's pretty much causing them to work overtime hours, doing all long hours. And I think that's why a lot of times things go crazy out there on the highway like it does. I don't think it has to do as much as with racism or anything like that. It has to do with reactions because of things that have been built up in your mind because of everything you see all the time.
Right. Not only that, they're working those long hours. Now their family life is stressed, so they're in a bad mood. They work too many hours. When I stay up and work too much, I get in a bad mood.
Correct.
But you have to deal with people that could be taking your life. So it could be somebody that's not doing anything wrong, but you've been dealing with all this stuff, and we've all done it. We've all taken stuff out on people we shouldn't have taken it out on. It's just unfortunate in their position. It ends catastrophically.
Right.
That's exactly right.
So that's a big problem.
So could y'all deal with something like that? You see what I'm saying? I took it there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we're open to. We talked about a bunch of all this stuff. We want to focus the first 2 seasons. We got 5 episodes that are going that are already done right now. Just on the 10 houses that we're building with the 10 vets. Right.
Wow. Let's talk about the details. Yeah, I didn't even know you.
Hold on, but let him
jumping out through the story. The 10 houses with the 10 beds.
I want to finish
I'm dealing with Mr. Beast from YouTube. The 10 houses with the 10.
Mr. Beast is watching.
He can help, right?
It's 501, buddy.
Right.
You can come help our vets.
You can donate.
I'll buy some Beast bars. Beastables.
That's right. Go back into it.
So, man, I guess we need to start from the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
From when we talked about everything.
Yeah.
And it all comes to the burger.
Go ahead.
It definitely does. Bro, so, okay. So you know how, like, you get a new friend, right? And they invite you over and, they feed you, whatever, white people, they eat at like 7:30. You know what I mean? It's still bright outside, and we're like, oh yeah.
Man, I called him the other day, and he's pushing a buggy in Kroger at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, bro, Kroger's open at 10.
How we get down?
I didn't know it was open at 10 o'clock. Yes, sir. Or you get stuff for breakfast in the morning? He's like, no, man, we're gonna cook. I'm like, at 11. I'm gonna call you back tomorrow.
No, but so he invites us over, and he just makes these regular burgers. It's not anything special about the burger, right? But I bite into it, and like the third bite in my head, I'm like, why is this the best burger I ever had in my life? Like, what is happening in my mouth? You know what I mean? And you know how you don't want to say it because you feel like you're overdoing it, and I don't want him to feel like I'm jerking his chain, But I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, oh yeah, that came off the land. Wait, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, this ain't never had no fly spray, no pour-ons, no vaccines, no nothing.
Wow.
I don't know. Might have had a name. I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? But like,
definitely had a name.
But it was the first time I had ever eaten beef that was that pure.
Wow.
Ever. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh man, we really sleep. You know what I mean? I was in Poland for like 3 months, and I probably ate twice the food because the dollar goes a lot further out there. Mm-hmm. So I probably ate out twice as much as I do here, and I lost weight, and I couldn't understand it for real. You know what I mean? But like when I had that burger, I was like, oh,
that's why.
This is what's happening. We've been eating the delicious clone meat for years now, and we love it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no longer. Yeah, not no more.
Well, and he said something right then. He's like something about the Aggr. He's like, man, this is what the Aggr-Hood needs to be about. And I'm pretty sure I had a beer. I probably set my beer down at the time. And I said, what was that word that you just said? And he goes, what, the burger? I was like, no, not that one. He goes, the Aggr-Hood? I was like, you've been going through my notes? Like, did you, like, that's the word that I use. Like, you can't use that word. Right. Right, that's my word. Yeah, like, you ain't got the pass to say that word.
Up here, he was like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah, and that's how it happened. I was like, "Dude, that's what I want to do," you know. And then we started talking about it, and man, for 6 or 8 months, we worked on it and wrote a bunch of stuff down and came up with a bunch of ideas and talked to a bunch of people. And I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into this thing, you know.
Yeah, bro.
And then I had some land up by Lake Texoma that we decided that we're going to go on partners in. You know, so we got 22 acres up there.
Wow.
And of course, you know, I don't know anything about the entertainment industry. My last 60 days has been a whirlwind with this guy, you know.
Hey, listen, I don't know shit about farming. My first day, well, I was technically ranching that day, but
you were ranching that day. That's right,
bro. You ever heard of chiggers?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
I had never ever heard of them.
You felt them?
You heard of them?
Apparently, chiggers like niggas because they would eat. Listen, I'm talking about disrespected me.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
And it hurts.
Yeah, and I just found out that bootcut jeans was made to go outside the jeans.
Oh yeah,
outside the boots. I didn't know that's why they was cut like that. You know what I mean? I had no idea. So I had my shit tucked in. He was like, yeah, rookie move, by the way. You know what I mean? And bro, I'm like, man, I'm still itching a little bit.
I know.
I'm still itching.
It takes them a while to get up out of there.
Definitely suffering through it.
How long have you been farming though? You never told me that.
My whole life. You know,
so your parents did it?
We've always had, no, I mean, not for a living, but because for our own food, you know, and for pets and stuff like that. We've always had cows and horses and chickens, and I raised quail and chuckers and pheasant and turkeys and sheep and, you know, FFA and the whole, I mean, we're country. Man.
Oh, so you did all the competitions and all of that too?
FHA in high school.
Yeah, man. You know, so we did all that, but when I sold my business, golly, man, that was what, now coming up in like 12 years, I guess. I sold my business so I could stay home and raise my kids. You know, I didn't want to be gone. And
what business was that?
Didn't turn out too well.
What business was that?
Actually, so my partner Rex Ramsey owns Forney Fence Supply.
Oh,
you might know Chico. He lives right up here off Lake June.
Wow. Okay.
Deacon, they call him Deacon Chico.
Yeah, I don't get much out on the town.
Okay, but so he does a bunch of work for us. Anyway, it's a wholesale fence. Yeah, a wholesale fence supply company. Yeah.
Okay.
That we had, and we had all our material manufactured in Vietnam and then imported over, and then we'd sell it to installers. So we like a miniature Home Depot type thing. You know?
Okay.
So my partner bought me out, and he opened up a shout out to Forney Fence Supply and the ATX Fence Supply, and now they got a Forney Fence up in Gunner. They just opened up a new location. He's doing really good. I'm proud of him. Rex is a good dude. And his parents still live here in Box Springs, as a matter of fact. But anyway, we digress on all that.
So farming, let's get back to the farming.
Yeah. So I sold my business, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? You know, because I got all this free time, and like I can't even stop turning this chair, right? I can't sit at home.
Can't sit
and
still.
do nothing. So for like 3 months, I sat at home and did nothing. I put on like 40 pounds. I was getting fat, and I was getting angry, you know. I was like, this got to stop. So I just went and bought all the equipment, you know, tractors and balers and cutters and rakes and a bunch of stuff, and I just started getting with it.
Wow.
Again, we've always raised animals, so I've always had that aspect. I've always loved doing it, you know. But now, fortunately, we're in a position where we can share this with people, you know. And it goes beyond just the Aggr-Hood and beyond the PTSD. I mean, we're teaching people how to do this at their house, right? Like at my house, and soon to be your house. Yeah. I ripped all my landscaping out, and like in our front yard, we've got blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, tomatoes, jalapenos, oregano, basil, mint, I got potatoes in the back and carrots and onions
all that.
And everything.
That's your thing,
and the thing
right?
is
I just don't have the land space for mine.
You say that you don't.
You don't want to rip that front yard out, huh?
Let me tell you, I have an above ground garden that I've been having for years.
Yeah.
I do my peppers, my tomatoes, my mint, my thyme,
She's Jamaican.
my
she's Jamaican. She
all
got
of that. Callaloo, which is a Jamaican, like I have that there. So I do grow every year.
Yeah.
So
fire.
but
Any like the
That's
flower
fire.
beds, like the HOAs require you to have X amount of shrubs and plants and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watering all this stuff and it's doing nothing for anybody.
But my bill was like $427 one time. I was like, what happened?
By the looks of
They
your
just put
water.
some new
for
shit in.
4 days, you need to stop that water. I told you that a couple weeks
in
ago.
the water.
So he influenced you to form.
Absolutely. Because like, bro, like they did
It's
a
fun.
study, like, because they were talking about like, what if we get bombed and like all of this different stuff, right? Like if the food supply were cut off to, I think, Austin, that they only had 2 days worth of food.
For everybody.
But that's crazy. Like, imagine if it got primal tomorrow. Like, everybody gonna be robbers because we don't know how to do nothing. We just gonna be robbing the nigga who grow in the corn or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, so to me, I just
You
feel,
would be. I wouldn't be.
Well, but not a lot of people are like
I'm a
that.
country boy. So
Well,
I
yeah,
come.
that's-
I come from that.
Hank Williams.
I
said
heard
it
that.
best.
No, for real.
I heard that. No, honestly.
I'll send him hunting, and I will.
You don't send me
everything.
nowhere. I'm gonna do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get it.
No, I
But
love
that's just
it.
because I know what time it is.
That's
I
what
love
you
that.
do.
You know,
Yeah.
but in the country
98%
where we
of the
from,
population don't know how to do that.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
And those
Yeah.
are the people that are going to be trying to come to us.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
And that's why we may or may not have the provisions necessary to protect our assets if it comes that time.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
But yeah, we're so our thing is we want it to go, everywhere. For instance, on my street, like saying what I have, in my flower beds, well, the kids will bring their bikes up and dump on my driveway, and they'll come get blueberries and strawberries that the birds don't get, and blackberries and all that kind of stuff. And I love it, So I tell every one of them, I was like, hey, you can tell your mom and dad they can put one in their flower bed, So imagine in 6 months if every other house on the street had that going on.
Right.
Now instead of the kids eating the candies and the chips and the crap, literally the crap that they're eating,
Right.
they could be out getting their hands dirty, getting some vitamin D, getting some stuff that don't have pesticides or herbicides or any of the junk on it, and give themselves some purpose.
Wow. How does it get to the? I'm still trying to get back to the PTSD and how you guys end up dealing with, this.
Well, I think it's a number of things, right? Like because I think I dealt with my own level of PTSD. I'm still dealing with it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been through Katrina, I lost my daddy, lost my friends, I lost a lot. But when I did this film called The Mustang, right? And part of the reason I did it is because I was scared of horses my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, I've been scared of horses because, like, in New Orleans, police ride horses, and sometimes, like, during Mardi Gras and all of that, like, anywhere a car can't go, they're gonna have a police officer on a horse. So I done seen them charge crowds and all of that kind of stuff, and I seen a pregnant lady get knocked over by a horse, and I'm just like, they are gigantic animals. You know what I mean? So they offered me this role, and it's basically about this group of guys in jail who break wild Mustangs and turn them into some sort of horse of value. But when I went through the process and I really worked with real wranglers, and they had some guys who was in the prison system who have been through it and all of that, who did the movie with us, it helped me understand myself dealing with these animals, not knowing this was equine therapy that I was going through the entire time, right? So I think, as we started to build on the idea and like what could really work for us and how could we really help people, we just started looking at what was helping us. You know what I mean? And I think that just it spiraled, you know what I mean? Like he said, for 8 months we just sat down every day almost, and talked about like how this could really help affect the world, because we didn't want it to we didn't want it to be a white or black thing. We didn't want anybody to be left out, pretty much, but when we started thinking about who needed help the most, when this conversation comes up about like my dad or whatever it may be, like I said, I thought I was going through something special. But 18 families a day are dealing with somebody unaliving themselves that was in the military, that went and fought for us. And we just walked past these people. You know, you see people at the red lights, legs blown off, and we just roll right past these people. Ain't no telling what they're going through. You know, so yeah.
So you say you somewhat still deal with it. So since you started doing, you know, creating your farming or, you know, hanging out at the farm, how does that make you feel when you're out there doing that? You know, how does that help your mental state?
It gives me all the peace in the world. You know, it's like, you know how like you give yourself time to think, quote unquote. That's what I thought I was doing, but my mind isn't on any of that. It's strictly on what I'm doing. Because the thing about plants and animals, they're not gonna fuss with you. They're not gonna argue with you. They're gonna give you exactly what you give it. If you water it, if you give it the time, it's gonna grow. You know, if you want to get real scientific, right? if you talk to it and give it love, give
or
it
sing
music,
to it.
sing to it, any of that, it flourishes. You know, and it's the same thing with animals. You know what I mean? If you treat them right, if you are good to them, they're good to you. So there's such a beautiful reflection if you allow that to flow out of you. You know what I mean? And it's just a really special space to be in, just in general, like with yourself. So it's been, man, I can talk about this all day. I can talk about this all day. I be trying not to get emotional about it, you know what I mean? Because it's like you never imagine that these types of things will even, like if I would have never met this man, I would have never ever had this opportunity. Right? But then you think about how crazy it sounds to be like, oh, well, my bank account looked like this and I never had the opportunity to do this. That shit don't even make sense. Exposure, bro, is everything.
What's funny is I was in Florida on vacation with the kids, and I got a text message every morning. Hey man, I need to go check on those chickens. Hey, I need to go check on the cows. You know, because you guys will see it. I don't think it showed a little bit of the cell barn. I can't give away too much because the first episode comes out on July 4th.
Yeah, don't give away too much.
He was calling to see if he could check on all the animals while I was out of town. You know, and
you know what? Fuck it, just tell him.
Yeah,
just tell him.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so I'm out of town and I get a text because she's, yo, Gene. I'm like, why are you up so early? Like, why are you up this early? This never happened. He goes, you think I need to check on the chickens? I was like, in my head, I was like, no, absolutely not. I was like, yeah, probably so. I think you need to check them out. You know, he goes, what about the cows? And I knew they didn't need nothing. I was like, man, you might need to go check on those girls too. You know, because he was just fiending for it. You know, once you get hooked on it, I'm telling you, it's something else. You know,
it's addictive. But some people will feel like, well, it's expensive as well to do, but like I've told even some of my friends, I said when I first started planting, you know, just go to Home Depot and buying all of these different plants and stuff like that, and the prices of plants went up. It can get pretty pricey, plus soil and fertilizer and just everything. But as I've been doing it, I'm like, you know what? I eat these watermelons all the time. Why don't I know it's sweet. Why don't I just take the seeds out, save those seeds, and just plant those seeds? So whatever you eat all the time, that's what you need to plant. Don't go planting stuff that you don't eat, because you're never going to use it unless you're going to give it to your neighbors or something like that. But take the seeds from what you have and just store it if it's winter or whatever.
And put a paper towel, put it in the freezer for
years.
They go dormant and stay in the freezer for
I never did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You put them in there.
I want to talk about just the fact of how you guys basically, you know, how did you even come up to, are we going to produce, is it a series, documentary? What the hell have we got here? You guys are talking around about it. It'll be out on the 4th. What the hell will be out on the 4th? You know what I'm saying? Well, what's up?
So like I taught him farming. He's trying to teach me this side of the business.
Yeah.
Man, it makes my teeth itch. I don't know how he does it.
But I'm like, how did y'all even come up with the production? How y'all, you know, where are we going to see it at? What the hell is going on?
So, of course, you know, it was my idea to put production around the whole entire thing, right? Because I feel like the world should know this, because
it's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And our thing is, we know we can only start off with so many people. You know what I mean? But we might strike the mind of some billionaire who's like, you know what? We need to do this everywhere. You know what I mean? Because it's not about us at all. But that was kind of we knew the reach could get pretty thick. You know what I mean? Like we done some things out here, and we know a couple of people. So we decided to put it all on YouTube. for right now. You know what I mean? We did get some pretty good offers, and it was some numbers that I ain't never heard.
There's some big numbers.
You know what I mean?
Big network. And listen, I don't know anything. Like, I mean, I am 45 days, well, maybe 2 months now into my struggling acting career. Right? So these numbers are coming. I'm looking at Jason. I'm like, is this for real? And then Corey and Ryan, the production manager, is like, we're not even going to entertain this. And I'm like, bro, can I say the name?
Yeah, you can.
I was like, bro, like Paramount Plus just offered us a bunch of money for this, and they're like, no, it's not enough. I'm like, okay, well, let's continue on.
But you never take your first offers in anything you do anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But this is so new to me. I don't know how anything works. I don't know how anything operates. You know, like we did all these podcasts in Miami a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and we're
it's
at the
hard.
ABFF.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, and that's what he's a lot of not
y'all
you,
gonna mad pass up.
He's been telling me from day one, man. He's like,
damn man. Shit hot over here, man.
He's been trying to get me into this Philly thing since the day I met him. You know, and I'm like, bro, I'm already your friend. Like, I don't have to. You don't have to blow smoke up my skirt. You know?
Right.
You don't understand.
Yeah, it's just some shit you can't teach, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I've looked in the eyes of a lot of actors, and some of them do what they call dialing it in. You know what I mean? When they just pretend like they're saying the thing, and they look you right in the eyes, and you know there ain't shit behind it. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, you know? And it's like you can't teach charisma. You know what I mean? And the more life you live, the more experience you have to grab from, your bag get deeper. You see what I'm saying? So for me, like, when I met him, I was just like, yeah, bro, you don't understand. Like, we need to do a buddy cop movie or something. You gotta lend me this talent, my guy, because you know, like, he walks into rooms and they light up. You know what I mean? You don't always see that in people, and when you do, you gotta tip your hat to it. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I think it's dope. I mean, I think for me, I would think, and I'm not an actor or none of that, but the more you guys are together and talking and hanging together, does that kind of help the chemistry?
Hell yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. That's why, like, I feel like by the time, you know, we actually get this going, because once this is full circle, because both of us been bit by the bug. I mean, like, because he thought I was bullshitting at first. See, when they pulled that camera out, I'm talking about one take Jake. We had to go back because it was like, you know, you do one for safety, you know what I mean? So we can cut it maybe however we want to, and I'm in the back like, I told you, you know what I mean? And he just was like, okay, like, all right, maybe you weren't lying. Maybe you weren't lying, you know, maybe you was telling the truth. And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch, bro. You know what I mean? Because quietly, he always had that in his life. I mean, he always had that, you know what I'm saying? And it's always been inside of him, but nobody, you know, like, motherfuckers low-key be hating. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who could probably put you in that position would never do that because they're like, I don't want you to take my job. Like, I'm secure in who I am. Like, I want to see my partners win. Everybody around me, I want to see them win.
But how many episodes are y'all doing for this season?
We got 5 so far. And, you know, it's tricky. It's tricky because YouTube, like, we're learning that space as well. And, like, you have to treat everything like a post, because apparently if you put episode 1, episode 2 and all of that, like, it confuses the algorithm for some reason. So I don't know if we're gonna consider this a full season. I don't know.
Or is this just like a teaser to build up your platform and then you come rolling out later on?
Nah, we gonna keep it rolling. We gonna keep it rolling. We gonna keep it rolling because we got to do all the construction. We got to find the vets. We got to do the entire thing. But like, to me, the journey is what's so special about it. You know, eventually they gonna come and like it'll be out of our hands while we go build the next few. You know what I mean? And that'll just be a show that lives by itself, and it'll be something great. And hopefully we could keep blessing these vets and whoever else that we help. You know what I mean?
And this is 22 acres. And how many houses are you planning to build on the 22 acres?
We're going to build 10 in the beginning. I think for the agricultural part, we could probably put 25 on that 22 acres because we're building small houses and we're going to kind of do like row housing where they're together. Each house is going to have a chicken coop of 4 chickens and then like a 10 by 10 greenhouse.
Okay.
And then we have a community garden that everybody like, this week is your week to tend the garden. This week is your week to tend the garden. So what that does with our vets is, you know, they're a community, right? There's no solo anything, right? So that gives them the camaraderie and the teamwork aspect, so they can transition a little bit easier instead of getting out of the military and the VA's like, hey, here's a $400,000 loan. Let's go get in debt for 30 years and move somewhere you don't want to live.
Right.
I mean, no, that's not the way to do this, you know? So we're going to give them a spot. We're going to try to make the program a 12-month program, right? And they've got all the stuff that we spoke about. Then we've got our broiler chickens. You know, you're familiar with broiler chickens. So the meat bird chickens, you know, that they have to raise. And we have a big chicken tractor that we built, so it'll be moved every single day to rotate. So we're doing rotational crop farming. I think we can get 25 on there and still get the beef production and the poultry production that we need out of it.
Well, you like that, don't you?
Yeah, he keep thinking about that burger. He's thinking about how fresh that stuff is.
But just the whole movement, though, it's got to be live, you know, and that's the crazy part, that you guys are doing this, man, and like I said, this is something that's going to just feed the people within the whole situation, right?
Absolutely.
But that sounds like a lot of meat and everything for just the people that are. You sound like you're going to have an over amount of.
Absolutely. Like, we want people to come check it out.
So what are you going to do with the rest? Are you going to sell it or give it out to?
I think, well, we're working this out, right? But in a perfect world, you know, through other content creators and all of that, we want these people to learn how to build businesses from the things that they're growing. You know what I mean? Like, Khalees does a really good job with us. She's a supporter of ours as well, you know, but like, she's taken the products that she's grown, and then, you know, now she got face products and all of this different stuff.
Right.
You know, it'll be beautiful to watch people flourish. You know what I mean? I ain't no telling what they might think of, but we want them to be able to have that opportunity. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, in between time, you know, we're gonna have some bomb ass cookouts. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be able to do a lot of bartering. You know, we want community to come back together, man.
So you're gonna have seasons, because you got to think about it, it's cold. Some seasons are cold. Then you got the hot where you know, when it get a little warm, it's greenery going on. The fruits right now are really good. You know what I mean? So it's everything's gonna. Are you guys staging those series like that?
Well, and that's why we want to do a 12-month follow.
Doc. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Getting this language down.
Yeah.
So we want to do the 12-month follow, Doc, so it takes you through the whole season. You know, or all of the 2 seasons that Texas has. Right?
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking about it.
Back to what he was saying and what you were saying with the overabundance of stuff. With beef, you know, the government steps in and ruins everything, right? All you 3-letter agencies, every one of you. So we can't legally sell beef that we raise to anybody off the market unless we go through the FDA and the USDA.
Okay.
That's right.
Unless you buy a membership to the private club at my RV park for $1 a year.
That's good stuff.
You did.
And where can they find that information to go ahead and buy that?
TexomaRVRanch.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the loophole around that until they decide to shut that down, right? But that's bullshit. They don't want us thriving and surviving without their thumb on top of it.
But they want to have the ability to take you where they want you to go.
That's right. And we're fighting that. You know, man, that's tough, man.
It's tough, but at the end of the day, I think you guys are giving it a hell of a shot.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
it's something that's going to encourage a lot of other people, as long as you guys keep it going.
And that's what we want. Somebody asked us the other day, "Are you afraid of somebody taking your idea?"
No.
Man, we hope everybody takes this idea. And
Please
as a matter
take
of fact,
this
give
idea.
us a call, and we will help you do this. You know, our main goal is to take that 18 a day down to 16, down to 14, down to single digits. You know, and get it as it'll never be 0.
Right.
But get it as low as we can. You know, and the byproduct is everybody else in the community getting healthier and being less dependent on Big Brother.
I believe that's a great idea.
You know, once we get this all set up, would it be dope? Like, if we could take the vets out, like, you know, I don't want to say on a field trip because that shit sound crazy, but like anybody who calls and they want new landscaping, because all of this shit, like what they call ornamental bushes and all of that, it's just like we got sticker bushes in our front yard that are cut into shapes and shit. Like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we could literally take our vets out and rip all that shit out and give you some new stuff in a day. You know
Especially
what I mean?
some people hesitate because they look at their land and like, well, I already have this, I have that, I can't put it right here.
Right.
And they don't want to do the work to do it.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people are intimidated. They think, oh, I don't have a green thumb. I mean,
I hear that a lot.
You can buy the plant and plant it, and just keep your water sprinklers on, you know. And every once in a while, throw some fertilizer out there. You know, it's not that big a deal.
But if you're doing tomatoes, you got to make sure you have something that holding them tomato vines up because they gon'
that's true.
well.
And you got to keep the animals out too because they love it. We try to put some flowers outside. The rabbits love them apparently.
And insects will tear them vegetables and all of that up.
Yeah.
I just learned that marigold helps with all of those insects. You got to plant like the marigolds and certain plants around.
Oh yeah,
it stops all of that.
Yeah.
So
I wanna ask you guys like what's the name of the series again?
The Aggr-Hood.
And how you? I know you guys are going to advertise it different ways. Of course, you're on Boss Talk 101 today, but what are some more things that you guys you going to run like Facebook ads? How are you guys going to get it out there to where people can know what time it's coming out? Or you just going to consistently bang them with it and then they're going to know? Or how we doing it?
To be honest, we trying to do everything we can because I like I was telling Gene, you know, and that's why we've been doing all these different podcasts and it's been a whirlwind for him because I want to do a Hollywood rollout and treat this like everything else and don't just sweep it under the rug like, oh, this is just some little shit that we doing. Like, no, this is the most powerful thing ever that I've done in my life. You know, like for a long time, I felt like I was kind of scrambling a little bit because it's dope. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I think I have the best job in the world. Making movies is fun as hell. You know what I mean? And when you do it well, the things that come along with it is dope. But like, I'm not changing the world making movies.
That's real.
right.
This right here it's gonna help everybody, man. This changes the world.
When does it air? You say on the
4th.
On the 4th this week.
Is there any shorts out outside of the one that you sent me?
No, that's the only one that's out right now.
I think that you should do more.
Yeah, there definitely is going to be more.
Because if there's a lot, then people are anticipating it and seeing it. You don't have to give them everything, but just short, you know, boom, boom. And I think that's where people get more intrigued. Like, what is this? And they trying to understand.
I'm with you on that. I
love to see that.
Because see, the company that we working with, TSMA, they like, you know, co-produced it with us or whatever. We just about to let them have at it because like even though I have a good following on the internet, like I'm still not an internet nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know nothing about this for real. You know, so I'm like, let's like I don't think about like, oh, let's post our life every day. Like I'm really living my life. You know what I mean?
No. Get it.
You gotta post though.
But
you gotta do it.
Post that whole situation in little skits of 30 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute, and they need to be popping off every day.
Absolutely.
Or not even just that.
It really channels people's mind and their psyche, and their suspense is real, you know.
But even like when y'all working together on the farm and not even filming, y'all need to be filming and posting short stuff on your social media so people can see y'all out there doing stuff and be like,
that's a fact.
Bro, my 127 followers be so pumped to see you. I don't do the social media thing.
But I'm telling you right now, that 127 will turn into something else.
They're going to share, and they're going to share your stuff.
It's just that we don't, I mean, we started off with hardly anything, but as you post and stay consistent, people are going to believe in you. And that's the thing. I seen you when you was over there with the paint thing around you, and you was in there and you was getting into it. Then you just stopped.
Yeah. Or when you were working out and then you just stopped posting.
Oh, see,
because you have other things going. I don't know, but I watch you because you're my guy, right? So
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
You know what I'm
gonna tell you the truth about what happened with that, right?
Oh boy.
So I have a 501c called Dream Seeker, right? And I give opportunities to people.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I gave an opportunity to somebody and they completely blew it. If I'm gonna just keep it real. So we have all of the content that's on the cutting room floor and they just...
I think that's a part of it. Anytime you're dealing with people, you got to be willing to deal with the letdown. But that don't stop nothing. You just keep going.
It really don't.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I fired a lot of people. Like, I push people away. Look at me. If she wasn't married to me, I'd probably been and got rid of her. But like, I'm talking about like Calm down. But I'm just saying, you know, like you just don't put up with a lot of stuff, but you know that it could happen. You know that this person is not invested like you. It's your vision.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the part where people we put too much. It's y'all's vision right now. That's why it works. You know what I'm saying? But if it was just your vision and you dragging him by the ear and he don't form, he's gonna be out of there. Or you trying to do movies, y'all both got to be invested into it for us. You know, the way you feel about it.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think part of it too, for me, if I'm gonna just be honest, is that like I at one point in time I felt like creating content on that level was beneath me.
I believe you, because that's what you've been thinking until you talk to somebody like Country Wayne and they tell you they're making $800,000 a month.
Exactly.
Then that kind of changes the way you feel about it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because they only doing 5-minute clips.
How long have we went back and forth about
this? You know what I'm saying?
Since the day you told me you're an actor, and I'm like, we should do a podcast. Dude, our podcast would be so funny. I mean,
and it works.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I mean, I'm not him. You know what I mean? I'm not a A-list dude, so I don't realize that he can't just go do some of the stuff that I can do because it knocks him down in Hollywood.
Correct.
So I'm like, damn, that sucks to be you.
It definitely does.
But I think Hollywood is changing with the way how things have been changing.
Oh, it is.
There's no way they could stay the same because with podcast is something that has become even more relevant than radio stations and stuff like that.
Just overtook Netflix and subscribers.
Exactly.
You know? So that's one of the other reasons why we went there.
Like I said, it's a process thing. I think you got to up one on everybody because of the work you've already put in, and I think if you stay consistent in doing it, I think it changes the game. I tell Faison, I tell all of them the same thing. Like y'all, when your face card is out there and everybody know you, then it's just up to you to be consistent and come up because God gonna bless it, bro.
That's
if
how
you take
I feel.
the steps,
That's how I feel.
You gotta take the steps. If you take the one step, you're gonna take two towards you. You just gotta take the step, and it gotta be consistent. And y'all so romantic. Like this phone is so cold. That's why he makes. Shout out to Country Wayne. He making $400,000 to $800,000 just with his phone.
Yeah.
That's it. No camera crew.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We get too romantic and we be running around trying to do what I'm doing here, and that ain't even the way it gotta be when you got a face card.
Right.
And you got a people.
Yeah, and it's so tricky, right? Because like perception is everything. You know what I mean? And it's almost to the point where I want to go ask the fans, like, what y'all want to see? You know, because to be honest, the power is having the direct pipeline from me to the fans.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's such a strange place, man, because it's like, I got people out there who work for me who are on the front line. I'm talking about they pitching, trying to make sure I'm in the next Oscar-worthy film. So the day I go work for free, then they like, oh, damn, what you doing? You know what I mean? And these people who came up in the mailroom before there was an agent and all of these things, you know what I mean? So they don't understand this world that I'm in right now. And I'm like, nigga, the content creators is whooping our ass.
That's right. And then when
they beating our ass, and they're not even that funny, you know?
And something can pop, and then you got to put them on. Then they'll understand.
Yeah,
it can happen that fast.
That's a fact. Shit.
No, it ain't like that. There's certain foods I don't even want to say that I ate growing up on this thing. You know what I mean? Like that's right. We hunting for whatever, man. My uncle.
Don't say it.
Nah, she don't like it, but I never seen such a thing, and I'm gonna say this because she's Jamaican.
Ahead. Ain't nothing wrong with no goat.
Yeah, if you eat a goat,
nothing wrong with no goat meat. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Anything else, you know?
I ain't gonna lie.
No,
Curry
I'm
goat
not
is
going
fire.
to
I'm a fan of cabrito.
I
like the borrega, not the cabrito. I'm not a goat fan.
I love goat, but I will not eat squirrel. I will not eat possum. I will not eat.
I don't eat no possum.
What's that other stuff?
Raccoon.
Heck no.
I'm not a fan of those, but if it comes down to it, I'd eat it.
Turtle, frog.
No, hey, listen, turtles
and frogs is fire.
No.
Turtle soup.
See what I'm saying? She'll never eat that stuff.
The rabbit and frog legs is probably my top two.
There you go. See, and she'll be sitting there looking like, what? I'm like, but you eat a goat.
You're gonna have to trick me into eating that stuff.
Listen,
fried frog legs taste like chicken.
Eat some watermelon with some balsamic and some mint. I can get you to eat some frog legs.
You ever tried that before?
Of course you haven't.
We grilling at the crib. He like, yeah, I got this watermelon. Next thing you know, I see him putting some shit on it. I'm like, see, this is why you can't leave white people alone. I'm like, he about to fuck it up. He like, listen. Boy, when I'm telling you this explosion happened in my mouth.
Easy.
Bro, and it wasn't nothing but, I think you put sweet basil that time.
Sweet basil.
Sweet basil.
Shrimp.
Watermelon and the balsamic vinaigrette. Bro, I'm talking about busting.
Yeah.
You hear me? Bussin'. Like, yeah, it's about to be the new dish that I bring by people's house.
Well, I can tell you right now, man.
Nice and affordable.
You guys, man, like I said, the dynamic and what you guys are trying to do, because people need to get back to real organic, because we know they lying in the supermarket. This shit is not organic. Some of it. I'm like, what is this? Organic? I could put organic on this whole rack here. Y'all wouldn't know.
Right.
You just going by what you're being told.
Right.
So I know what you guys are doing is organic. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference, man.
What people don't realize about organic is there's thresholds of stuff that you can use to still be organic, right? So it's still going to have your herbicides and your pesticides, you know. I mean, for people that aren't going to do it themselves, shame on you if you don't try it. But the fruits that you eat the flesh of, if you're going to waste your money on organic, that's what you waste it on, right?
Yeah.
Like a banana don't matter because you're not eating the flesh. You know, orange don't matter, and avocado don't matter. But like an apple or cherries or blackberries, you know, anything that you eat the flesh on, that's what absorbs the herbicides and the pesticides the most to get in the system.
Plums.
So if you are a, you know, organic person, it don't matter on the stuff that you peel. But on the stuff that you eat the skin off of, if you're going to throw your dollars at it, that's what you need to throw it on.
Man, it goes all the way even to the plums. I be riding looking for plum trees. They leaving. I don't know. I'm looking for them. I'm driving. I'm in Turl. I'm over here. I remember the tree was here 10 years ago. They tore that tree down. I'm mad as hell. I know this is an easement, bro. So like, what are y'all doing? Y'all shouldn't be out here doing this.
So at my RV park that I have, I planted 65 fruit trees and like 40 fruit shrubs.
Wow.
I got peaches, pears, apples, pomegranates, plums, blackberries, and blueberries.
And we be
And
smacking
then I got like 35 chickens. So when you stay at the RV park, you can go pick all the fruit that you want. And you take your scraps and feed them to the chickens and get some eggs.
I'll be up there
in the morning.
I'm coming through.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'm gonna come see what y'all got
Those
going.
Those plums
on.
are so good. I got a picture. I'll send you some. My
Don't
kids,
send me no damn picture, man.
See those
damn
peaches too?
My son bring my stuff from East Texas because my son, he got a house in Marshall. So he brings me up fruits and stuff all the time.
Burgers.
One of my friends from college is from Marshall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Ryan Brazel.
Oh, man, shout out. The boy got a shout out on Boss Talk. You know what I'm talking about?
I'll never forget it now. I ain't talked to him in 10 years probably, man. He's a good dude, though.
Man, thank you guys for coming on the show, man. So what are we, give me the shout out one more time. What we doing, man?
So the Aggr-Hood.
There we go. There we go.
It's going to be at It's Jason Mitchell on YouTube.
Okay.
You can go to Jason Mitchell on Instagram or Jason Mitchell
Jason Mitchell actor.
Actor. There you go on Instagram.
All right, take two. Let's get it.
Okay. So you can see it on YouTube at It's Jason Mitchell. Please subscribe, watch everything, share it with everybody. We need all the views that we can get on that thing to help our veterans. So it's up to you guys for us to help our vets. You can hit his Instagram on Jason Mitchell Actor. Mine is Gene_C_official. Bring that 127 people up maybe to 200 this week. That'd be nice. Texas Daddy on TikTok for me.
Ooh, Texas Daddy.
Texas Daddy.
I like that name.
Already, man.
So hold on. So is that where they can go, like for the vets, if they are interested to be a part of maybe your next season or anything like that? Is that where they can go and apply, fill out a form?
I'm not gonna lie, that's the toughest part for us.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't want to turn anybody away, but the list is long. The list is long. You know, so people, we need help. We need y'all. We can't do it without y'all. You know what I mean? Every like, every comment, every follow, every watch, every click, all of that help. You know what I mean? You don't have to just give money. You know what I mean? We just need a little bit of your time, and I'm telling you, we're trying to do something great, but we definitely need the support.
Thank you guys so much, man. We appreciate you for coming on the show, man. And like I said, man, I'll be up there. We got to get up there.
Yes, we got to go. I definitely want to taste that burger that you talking about.
We got to get up there and see what's going down, man. It's something we got to do now, man. But make sure you guys, before we end this, go download that app, Boss Talk 101.app, man. It's going down.
Do it.
Do it now. You know what I'm saying? Check it, man. It's been another. Thank you guys. We love you, brothers,
thank you
man.
for having us on.
It's been another great segment of Boss Talk 101, where the bosses talk.
And we out.